Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this very important workshop. Today's workshop, as you can see, is going to be about verb patterns in academic writing, and inshallah, it's going to be presented by Ms. Yasmeen Ibrahim. Uh, Most of you know Ms. Yasmeen Ibrahim. She holds a bachelor's degree in English language and literature, and she has attended tens of the Academic Writing Center's workshops. Currently, she works at the Quality Plus Institute for Teaching English as an EFL and ESL instructor. Ms. Yasmin Ibrahim has volunteered at the Deanship of Students Affairs at King Abdulaziz University for 500 hours. She specifically volunteered at the People with Disabilities Center. She also gave online supportive and remedial classes for students with special needs at King Abdulaziz University. Ms. Yasmeen Ibrahim helped in translating a few books and designing announcements in both English and Arabic for the same center. Please join me to welcome Ms. Yasmeen and wish her the best of luck. The floor is yours, Ms. Yasmeen, and thank you again and again for this excellent workshop.
Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's workshop. First thing first, let me just thank you all for coming to this workshop. Is the mic working? All right. So, thank you all for coming today. It's an honor actually to have this opportunity to address such a distinguished audience. I've been religiously a loyal attendee for the last 2 years or so for all of the workshops that have been presented with this center. I've been learned and enjoyed so much from our precious and amazing doctors and instructors, and to be able to just give back just a little of what I've been learned from all of their uh, their work and amazing contribution. It's been an honor to do so. So yeah, today's workshop, inshallah, is going to be about verb patterns. What I would like to do in this presentation is to shed the light on the different forms of the verbs, the purposes of the verb, when we should use each form, which verb come to after certain verbs, do we use the base form or we should add different suffixes at the end. We're going to discuss all of these in today's workshop, inshallah. So, as you can see, here's the outline. We're going to be focusing on three major verb patterns, which are the to infinitive form, we also call it the base form, and we also going to focus on the gerund form. It's basically a verb added with, we added to it ing suffix. And the last category we have is bare infinitive, and under this category we have four different verbs: verb to do, modal auxiliaries, causative verbs, and verbs of perception. So let's look at this statement. Language is full of patterns. What does patterns mean? Do you have an idea? Combination, okay, ways. What else do you think? Structure, sentence patterns, well done. Phrases, that's good. So basically, the word patterns mean repeated, decorative, designed structure. Okay, they come in a certain way, in repetitive manner. Language patterns specifically are or is the arrangement of identifiable repeated corresponding elements in a text. So it means the language has consist, order or organized elements that comes in a certain places. So let's look here. We have subject plus verb. This is the most basic simplest form of any sentence. It has to be consist of subject, the doer, or the main focus, and the verb, the action that happened. This is the basic of any sentence. Could we add anything to it? Yes, we could add adjectives. If we want to describe something, we could add object. We also could add prepositions, prepositional phrase, any other ideas that we want to express, we can build on this structure. And as you can see, subject and verb always comes in the same order regarding sentences. We always start our sentence with subject and verb, and then we'll do any other part, complement we say. So this is the basic. As you can see, it's fixed, it's repeated, and it's organized. Now, I have this simple question for you all. What is a verb? Okay, an action. Well done. What person do? Very good. Is it always physical actions? Described actions. Well done. Very good. It's an action word. So let's have a look at the definition of verbs. Verbs are words that show an action. This action could be physical action, like drink, speak, or it could be not physical but abstract action. For example, think, thought. All of these considers action. Okay? And also occurrence and state of being, like went, he go, he passed away. All of them considered verbs. Now, the main point that we're going to discuss and focus on today is the verb patterns. Verb patterns basically means what follows a verb. So we're not looking at the verb itself, we're looking what comes after the verb, what changes that we're going to do for it. So let's have a look here. Some verbs stand alone. For example, we have this sentence, he laughed. We have he as a subject, laughed as a verb. Did we need to add anything to complete the idea? Do you think the meaning is fully delivered here? Well done. So the idea is fully expressed here. He laughed. That's it. Full stop. We don't need to add object or any complement to the verb. Type. The next types of verbs are going to be followed with object. For example, we have this sentence, they loved it. They loved it. Can we say they loved and stop at it? Or we need to add an object to complete the idea? Very good. So this verb takes object. We can't confirm or we can't conduct our thoughts without adding adjective to the sentence. Well done. And then we have verbs that followed by object prepositions. For example, put it on the table. Okay, we have location, we have preposition, on, under. And this type of sentence, describe it. Where we should put the preposition, it comes after the verb and object. Put it on the table. Alrighty, and the last one, we have verbs that follows by another verbs, but in different forms. So our rule says we can't combine or pair two verbs together in the base form. We have to change the following verb, either by adding ing to make a gerund or by doing or adding the to particle, to form infinitive, to walk. As you can see here in the example, I hate waiting. I, subject, hate. The verb waiting is gerund. It's a modified verb. When we add ing, it becomes such as a noun. We treat this verb as a noun. It becomes gerund. On the other hand, we have this sentence, I prefer to walk. Again, prefer is the verb, and here we added the particle to, becomes the to infinitive form. I prefer to walk. Now, we have these famous types of verb patterns in English. Basically, we have verbs that followed by to infinitive. We have verbs that followed with ing or gerund, basically. We have verbs that followed by object and to infinitive. And the last category, we have bare infinitive. All right. So we're going to start with verb to infinitive. So basically, it's a verb that followed by infinitive. What is infinitive? Any verb that comes after the particle to, it became the infinitive form. So if we said to run, to breathe, to celebrate, to discuss, to claim, all of these verbs are infinitives because it comes after the particle to and it's written in the base form without any addition, without any suffixes. We can't add ing to the verb, we can't add ed, no. We always have to put it in the base form. So as we said, an infinitive form of a verb is the base form. We obtain the infinitive form by placing the suffix to in front of the verb. Here we have our sentence. I want, this is the first verb, to go. This is the particle to and the infinitive form of the verb. Go, we didn't put it in any other, we didn't add any other suffixes to the verb. We didn't say goes or going. We have to say go, the base form of the verb. Now, here's a list of the verbs that comes in this pattern. So we have agree, ask, learn, want, refuse, offer, claim, tend, hope, decide. All of these verbs has to be followed with to plus infinitive. So we have few sentences. Let's look at the box here. We agreed to postpone the exam. So agreed, the first verb, it's can be come in any tense. Agreed, it's a past verb. But to postpone has to be in the infinitive form. To postpone, what comes after it. We're focusing not on the verb, but on what comes after it. What comes after it has to be to plus infinitive. Again, she decided to stay home. Decided to stay. Here we have the to plus infinitive form. They want to contribute to the event. Again, to contribute plus infinitive. You need to ask for permission. Again, to ask, to plus infinitive. And the last sentence, my neighbor refused to pay. All of these verbs, all the verbs that comes after to has to be in the base form. After that, we have the categories of verbs that followed with the verb plus ing, or in another word, gerund. These verbs followed by the ing suffix, these verbs called gerund, and they are not considered as a verb, they actually considered as a noun. When I say considered as a noun, it means they become and act as a noun. We can place them in the subject position in the sentence. We can place them in the object position. They basically nouns. Once we add ing to any verb, it becomes gerund and act like a noun. Here we have the sentence. I, subject, enjoy our verb, and what comes after it is a gerund form, reading with ing. Here we have our list. All of these verbs has to be followed with ing. We have admit, avoid, recommend, deny, consider, quit, permit, dislike, forbid, and so on. All of them has to be followed. As you can see here, this is the simple equation. One of these verb plus verb ing. Okay, here's our sentences again in the box. Have you finished working? Again, after finish, the verb comes in the gerund form, working with ing. I always enjoy cooking. After enjoy, the verb has to be in the gerund form with ing, cooking. I always enjoy cooking. They admit stealing. Again, they admit stealing the money. She denied committing the crime. I dislike driving long distances. All of these verbs has to be in a gerund form because we can't combine two verbs in the base form together. We have to alter the shape of the verb, whether add to plus infinitive or adding ing at as it shows with these verbs. Now, practice time. Here we have few sentences. Can you find the correct form of verbs for each sentence? Let's start with the first one. So, Tiffany hopes. Do you think running or to run a marathon next year? Well done, to run. There you go. So, Tiffany hopes. Hopes is a verb that has to be followed with two infinitives. So, she hopes to run a marathon. Well done. How about next sentence? You should quit. Smoking or to smoke? What do you think? Well done, smoking. Quit has to be followed with a gerund. Very good. So you should quit smoking. Next we have she has decided, given up or to give up her job. To give up. Well done. Okay, next. The thief denied stealing or to steal the purse. Stealing. Well done. Okay, with ing gerund. He agreed lending or to lend me some money. He agreed. Well done, to lend me some money. And the last sentence we have, my neighbor offered helping or to help me to move out. This one is a little bit tricky, but yeah, it's to help. My neighbor offered to help. Very good. Well done. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Now, here we have different types of verb. These verbs or this verb pattern could be followed by either gerund or ing. It can take both, but the meaning, on the other hand, could be stay the same or it could be differ. Let's see here. Some verbs can be followed with both gerund and to infinitive. The meaning of the verb could change depending on what follows it. So if the verb followed with to infinitive, it could mean another thing when we follow it with the ing, with the gerund form. Here we have a sentence. I love to eat chocolate. I love, this is the verb. To eat is the to infinitive form. And I love eating chocolate. Love, here we have the verb, and eating the gerund form of a verb. So here are our verbs. The first box has the verb that followed with both to infinitive and gerund, but still have the same meaning. The meaning doesn't change. We have begin, continue, start, can't bear, can't stand, hate, like, love, prefer, and prefer. Okay? All of them still have the same meaning, whether it's followed by to infinitive or gerund. On the other hand, we have the other box here, verbs that also could be followed with to infinitive and gerund, but the meaning is different. When we follow it with to infinitive, it means something not the same or something else than adding ing to them. We have forget, quit, regret, remember, stop, and try. Okay, so next category we have verbs that followed by object and plus to infinitive. So some verbs followed by object plus to infinitive, as you can see here in the sentence. She asked, ask is the verb, me is acting as an object here to the sentence, and it followed by to give the to infinitive form of a verb. So here, the object comes in between the verb and the to infinitive form of the other verb. She asked me to give her some advice. Here's the list of these verbs that follow this type of pattern. We have force, want, ask, allow, order, tell, advise, need, persuade, invite, help, expect, and encourage. All of them has to be followed with object, and then we follow it with the to infinitive form of a verb. Here we have our sentences. He told his assistants to send the parcel. We need someone to help us. As you can see, need is the verb, someone, object to help infinitive form. Okay. Our neighbor invited us to have dinner. Again, invited is the first verb. Us, the object, to have the to infinitive form. The doctor expected his patient to take the pills on time. Again, expected the verb, his patient is the object, to take is the to infinitive form. So we have object embedded between the first verb and the to infinitive form, the following verb. Now we have our last category here, the bare infinitive. So bare infinitives are formed by removing to, the particle to, from the to infinitive form. So they're basically infinitive, the base form of the verb, but without to. Okay, here we have few examples. Okay, we use the bare infinitive form of verbs in a certain area. The verbs that come after verb to do, the verbs that come after modal auxiliaries, and the verbs that comes after verbs of perception and causative verbs. Now, verb infinitive, specifically verb to do. Verb to do is an auxiliary verb used in the simple tense, do and does used in the simple present tense specifically, and did used in the simple past tense. So they act as a helping verb in the simple tenses. If we want to make a question, specifically yes or no question, we have to start with the helping verb, do or does. Also, if we want to negate any sentence, we also use them to add not, do not, does not, and didn't. So here we have the equation. Any verb that comes after the helping verb, do, does, or did, has to be written in the bare infinitive, the base form without the particle to. Here we have in the box few examples. You don't like getting up early. So, don't, our helping verb, like is the main verb but written in the base form. We can't add ing, we can't add ed, any suffix. It's khalas, it has to be in the base form. Next, we have he does go to the gym 4 days a week. Again, present tense. Does is the helping verb. Go is the main verb written in the base form. And the last thing, we have a question. Did you do your homework? So, did is a helping verb in the past tense. So the past of the do is did. And do here is the main verb of the sentence. So did you do your homework? It comes in the bare form. We didn't say does doing anything. We have to say it in the base form. Did you do your homework? Okay. Next we have the modal auxiliaries verbs. They also comes under the category of bare infinitives. So they are auxiliary verbs used to support action verbs in giving meaning to the sentence. Modals always followed by a bare infinitives, as we said, and modals used with the main verbs to express ability, probability, permissions, or obligation to do something. So they add an extra meaning to the main verb of the sentence. Here we have our famous models. We have can and could, and both of them express abilities and possibilities. They also used to ask permission and request. We also have shall and should, and both of them used to express obligation and giving advice. Will and would used to pretty much for request and invitation, sometimes to asking for a permission. Okay, may and might, we use them to predict the future or giving permission. And the last one we have must, which use for necessity or obligation. All of these words or all of these verbs are modals. They has to be followed with a bare infinitive form. So any verb comes after them has to be written without any addition. Here we have our examples in the box. Kate can speak without any addition. Can the modal verb, speak the main verb. Kate can speak 3 languages. Next we have you should listen to your parents. So here we have advice. Should is the auxiliary and listen is the main verb written in the base form, bare infinitive. Next we have I will visit you next week. Again, will the auxiliary, visit the main verb without any additive. They may return. Again, may is the modal auxiliary, return the main verb. It might rain tomorrow. Might, the modal verb, rain the main verb without any addition. You must attend your classes. Must, the modal auxiliary, attend the main verb. Both, any verb that follow these modal auxiliaries has to be written in the base form. And the last sentence we have, I would love to meet your brother. Again, love written in the base form. All right. And now we reach to our last category or verb that comes under this category, bare infinitives, which is verbs that followed with object and plus bare infinitive. So, certain verbs such as causative verbs and verbs of perceptions usually followed by object, and then we have to put the verb in the base form, bare infinitive. So, what does causative verbs mean? Basically, they are verbs that cause someone to do something. For example, we have let, as you can see in the list underneath. Let, it's a verb that allows someone, it indicates that we allowing someone to do something. Make, we also use it to force someone to do something. Have, to give someone the responsibility to do something. And get, to convince someone to do something or to trick someone into doing something. These 4 verbs goes under the causative verbs category. The other types of verbs are verbs of perceptions. All of them basically refers to the 5 senses that we have, or the 5 senses of human being. We have, for example, see, notice, hear, feel, and watch. Okay? These two types of verbs, causative verbs and verbs of perception, has to be followed with object and then the bare infinitive. Let's have a look at the examples here. So I made him say sorry to her. Made is a causative verb. Him, the object, and say the bare infinitive form of the verb. Next we have she watched him move to the another seat. Again, watched is a verb of perception. Him, an object, and move is a bare infinitive. Next we have Jack let me drive his car, his new car. Let, again, causative verb. Me, object. Drive, bare infinitive verb. I didn't see you come in. See is the verb of perception. You, the object, and come is the bare infinitive. And the last sentence we have, we felt the ground move a little. Felt is verb of perception. The ground is the object, and move is the bare infinitive form of the verb. Now we have few exercises. Yalla, let's do them together. Number 1. I clearly remembered lock or locking the door. What do you think? Very good with ing, gerund. I clearly remember locking the door. So remember is a verb that take both to infinitive and ing, gerund. But here we have only the bare infinitive form of lock. So it can't be the correct answer. So I clearly remember locking the door. Now, next sentence. I regret to tell or telling you that you failed the test. So actually to tell, because I'm not regretting the verb, the action. I have to say this verb. Yani, to tell, it means I have to say this thing, even it's yani, bad for you. But I regret telling, it means I regret telling this, like generally. So I regret to tell you. It's a fact, it has to be told, okay? Now, next we have Kate doesn't like or to like her job. This one is very easy. Well done. So, any verb comes after does or do or did, it has to be written in the base form. Bare infinitive. Well done. Kate doesn't like her job. Next we have the news made her to cry or cry. Well done, well done. So made is a causative verb. Her, the object, and it has to be followed with bare infinitive, cry. Well done. Next we have, it starts raining or rain. Very good. So it has to be followed with gerund because the verb start always is followed with gerund. It starts raining. Well done. Are you not allowed? No, sorry, you're not allowed to leave or leaving. To leave. Well done. You're not allowed to leave. The guest might to arrive or arrive late to the party. Very good. The guests might arrive late to the party. And they invited us to stay Hello, can you hear me? Okay, sorry. Pick up right where we stopped. So we stopped at they invited us to stay or stay at their home. So which one is the correct answer? Very good. Well done. So to stay. Well done. And here we have our last slide. Again, another practice. My parents advised me get or to get a new car. Yes, very good. To get a new car. Well done. Next we have, do you living or do you live with your parents? Again, do you live? The verb has to be in the base form, in the bare infinitive form, because it followed verb do, to do. Next, we have the teacher postponed to discuss while discussing the project to the next class. Very good. With ing, gerund. The teacher postponed discussing the project to the next class. Well done. Yeah, next we have I stopped eat or to eat lunch. Well done. So to eat, it means I cutted this action. I stopped what I've been doing to do the other action, to eat. So I stopped to eat. Here we're giving a reason why we stopped. Well done. Next we have she can meet or meeting us at 5 o'clock. Well done. She can meet. Can is an auxiliary, specifically a modal auxiliary, and any verb comes after it has to be written in the bare infinitive. Well done. She can meet. Next, I watched her. Well done. I watched her walk away. Watched is a verb of perception, and it has to be followed with object, her, and then the bare infinitive, walk. Well done. Next we have Hannah enjoys to read or reading in a bed before she go. Very good. So Hannah enjoys reading. Enjoys is a verb that has to be always followed with a gerund. She enjoys reading. Well done. And the last sentence we have, we hope to see you again soon. Very good. So we hope to see you again soon. Well done. And that's it. Thank you so much for attending this workshop. I hope you all have learned something valuable in here. And yeah, if you have any questions, just please let me know.
MashaAllah, Ms. Jasmine, Allah, you met our expectations. Very wonderful, very invaluable, very interactive, very useful workshop. We all learned a lot, actually, yes. And well, I was hoping that more students attended this excellent workshop. Most of the topics really address our students' needs. Okay, I'm attaching or I'm posting the usual links for you, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are interested in getting the certificate, please make sure that you fill in and complete the form, the evaluation form, I mean, and your name, as usual, should be exactly the same as you want it to be on your certificate. These are extra links, but make sure that you complete the evaluation form itself. Now, for the slides, Mr. Muhammad, if you are interested in getting the slides, and if the presenter does not mind, if Ms. Yasmeen does not mind, I can send all the slides to all those interested directly after the workshop if you send me an email. Here is my email. Thank you again and again, Ms. Jasmine, and all participants. And just a small reminder, this is the last workshop for this semester. And hopefully, if you need other topics in the future, you can suggest. Here is the email. You can use it and suggest any workshops you are interested in watching or attending in the future. And even the door is open for honored presenters. If you are willing to present, like Ms. Jasmine, mashallah, you can again coordinate with us. Thank you, everybody, and have a lovely day and night and long weekend break. I mostly send the slides directly, and 10 to 15 minutes after the workshop. So the sooner the better. Here is my email, Sister Sundus, or you can log into the website, the Academic Writing Center website. So you can keep the email, you can go to the website directly. Thank you, Brother Mustafa. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for enriching the workshop. Thank you for your questions and answers and attendance.